Hi, I'm Nathan Cruz and welcome once again to Inside the Toy Room. So today I actually want to talk about why I think toy collecting is important to somebody. Now, everybody has to have a hobby. It might be that you go to the gym, it might be that you're into running, it might be that you're into cars, classic cars, modern cars, whatever it might be that is your thing. I've got several of them. I love going to the gym, I love gardening, and I love collecting toys. Whether it be the point of nostalgia to take me back to my childhood, when I remember being a 5-year-old and first opening up my Tommy Oliver figure, and I've been dying to do this on this channel, flipping the head. If it be those little things, and I can just look at that action figure when it's up there on the Power Ranger stand, or all of this Power Ranger stuff here, and it just takes me back down memory lane to a simpler time when I didn't have the stresses of thinking about my mortgage, thinking about saving for getting my MOT sorted, or whatever it may be, and those adult things that you need to escape from every now and then. It's quite often I find myself at night time, I'll brush my teeth in our bathroom just there, and I'll walk down and I'm just looking around. My mind just escapes and forgets everything, and I'm just so happy just looking at this stuff. It just brings me that sense of enjoyment, and I think that's really important to somebody. It can be a bad thing because it can be very addictive and can have some very damaging cost effects on your bank account, of course, but as long as you stay sensible within that stuff and that you give yourself something to aim for and have a purpose behind this, I think it's a really healthy hobby. I know so many people who are into toy collecting, obviously, that I've met either through this channel or that I've met through our Instagram page, or that I've just met in general, and I've managed to share my enthusiasm for toy collecting, and they've also mentioned that they have a collection, and some of those we've even featured on this channel. Every single one of those people tell me that same thing, is that it's that escape for them, going out to a shop, finding that toy, buying it, taking it home, displaying it. It's that same type of feel, and it takes you back, and it is a really healthy thing for someone's mental health. Anything that makes somebody happy should never be judged, and toy collecting sometimes does get judged for being a bit of a nerdy thing, and I'll be the first person to hold my hands up and go, yeah, it is pretty nerdy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a 30-year-old man and I have a giant monster that looks like a dinosaur on fire. And I think this is one of my coolest things that I own. I love this toy. The actual reality to somebody else is that it's just a piece of plastic, right, that's painted differently. And I completely get that understanding, because they may not be a fan of Godzilla, they may not be a fan of Power Rangers, Batman. Well, who isn't a fan of Batman? All this stuff over the years has brought me so much enjoyment. I remember going back to around 2004 when I first started, I guess, toy collecting. It did start with the Godzilla toys, because there was a lot of the Japanese monsters that just weren't available here in the United Kingdom when I was growing up as a child. By the time the internet was around, I could get all of this stuff, so I was about 14, 15, I was a teenager. I was like, okay, yeah, I want to start getting my hands on this stuff. And my mum was the first person to go, why are you buying toys? At 14, because I couldn't get hold of this stuff when I was younger, mum, and I still want it. It just developed into this collection, and by 2013, when I decided that I really wanted to dive into classic toy collecting, in particular with the 1997 Batman and Robin toy line, I found this adrenaline rush from going onto eBay and trying to find something for a really good price and then buying it. Who doesn't like getting stuff delivered? It is like this nostalgia purpose. Toy collecting is just a really cool little hobby that you can have like that, and the best thing about it to me is the community that it then connects you to. As a toy collector, I've been invited into so many different Facebook groups and things like that, and we all share our collections and things like that, and there's never, there's community guidelines, but they never really get abused by people who are, belittling somebody for having a smaller collection than somebody else, because we all started at some point. We all have different budgets to be able to afford different levels of toys, and it isn't about that. What it's about is what these things mean to you personally. As I just mentioned, that's just a piece of plastic to someone else, but to me, that was a figure that I really wanted when I was about 9 years old and I couldn't get my hands on. And then I was, a bit older, I could finally get my hands on it, and it means something to me because of that, because Godzilla's got a very niche market, I suppose. Godzilla fans, it's kind of a unique thing to me. there isn't that many Godzilla fans out there in regards to the people who actually followed the original Toho films before they came to the mainstream Hollywood screen. This was like a big thing for me. And then, like I said, to go back to get some of these original Power Rangers and they'd recall back to my childhood then of playing with these as a kid, going to modern day collections of things like this from Mask of Phantasm. Is known as one of the best animated Batman films of all time. Some say it's the greatest. I prefer Sub-Zero, but again, Mr. Freeze. So to get something like this that captures that and it makes it iconic, and these are all now collector's items. My fiance always jokes that like, oh well, if they're worth so much, why don't you sell them? No. It's a simple answer. I don't want to part ways with this stuff, particularly the things that people have bought me, and there's a lot of stuff in this toy room that's either been gifted to me or bought by close family and friends. Like, I find it so cool that I can look at some of this stuff that's been gifted to me by fans, followed my wrestling career, enjoyed what my level of work was so much that they found an interest of mine that was also an interest of theirs, that they could then gift me something. That's kind of cool. I never ask for a gift, but when fans reach out with that and I can say, well, if it wasn't for what I did in my professional wrestling career, it just adds something else to the nostalgia of this. For example, this Green Ranger figure here that's mint in its box, a fan from Germany, so not even in the United Kingdom, I've never met, also collects Power Rangers and had one spare and was like, okay, yeah, I want to gift that to Nathan Cruz because I really like his in-ring work and I know that he's a toy collector and he's got this. So now I look at that and go, I have the nostalgia of getting that as a kid, but I can also look at the fact that I did something with my life that impacted someone else to actually want to gift me that. The Green Ranger helmet is just that reminder of when my first Christmas with my fiance, well then she was just my girlfriend, but pretty much cemented in my mind that I should probably marry her at one point. The amount of things that that have been bought for me by Matt Myers, who's again, he's been my friend since I was 7 years old, and he's also a toy collector, and you can check out the episode where we take a look at his Pokemon card collection right here. And those things carry so much personal value to me, and it becomes more than just this toy that I used to play with or this toy that I want. It becomes a personal item. So basically what I'm saying is I can step into this room and I'm surrounded by memories, personal attachments, and I don't have to worry about anything else in the world. It can just take my mind off it. And even when I'm away from this toy room and I can just think about it or wanting to add to it, that thrill of being able to go and search for something and try and find a good deal, and all of a sudden something may come up that's this for this much, really? Well, yeah, okay. And then you're waiting for it to arrive and the excitement of when it gets here. It's incredible, it's euphoric. Why would I not want to do that just out of fear of what somebody else thinks? The long and short of what I'm getting to about this episode is, if this is something that you do and you're still kind of in the closet about it, you don't really want to talk out about it, forget what anybody else thinks. If it makes you happy, do it. If you love toy collecting, then create a YouTube channel. Do what I did. Create an Instagram page and share it with the world. I promise you, there's hundreds of thousands of people in this world with that same mentality who love this stuff, and we just don't care what anybody else thinks, and we want to encourage you to do the same thing. Enjoy your hobby, share your enthusiasm with everybody else. I want to check out what's inside your toy room. Hopefully this episode's been really beneficial to some of you, because that's what I wanted out of this one, really, more than giving information. And if it has, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell so you're notified every single time we upload a new episode and can bring you some new content from inside the toy room. And if you have already been supporting this channel, I want to say thank you very much for your support so far. It's given me a great opportunity to share my enthusiasm of this culture with everybody, and meet some incredible people, give away some cool prizes. It's just been a really cool journey so far. No matter how small this channel started out to be and what it may grow into, it doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is getting to share this with people, to get to share video editing with one of my best friends and collaborate on something together. One last time before we go, because I can't flip the Green Ranger or flipping Jay. Look at this. Yeah, they bring me so much joy, these toys,